Actually, it's the unfrozen caveman mathematician. Actually, I'm not a mathematician. I'm a purveyor of fine mathematics. Um, Take a look at Crouton Ramon's House of Math. I just got a kid that had autism and had 0 math credits when I met her. It's a big damn deal, so I'm going to mention it. No math credits. They weren't even teaching her math when I met her, and I had to start from scratch. I mean, literally, she had some addition facts and a little bit of multiplication going on, but that was it. And now she passed the compass test, which is a high school equivalency exam. Took 3 tries and about 3 years, an hour a week, pretty consistently, just 1 hour a week. Now, if I can do that with a kid that's got autism and no math credits, imagine what can happen with a quote-unquote normal kid. Anyway, you can check that out. There's a link below. But this is about Ron Paul. Ron Paul. Oh man, the media has taken to just straight up lying. I love it. CNN is TASS. It's the same thing. I'm not even going to go into it in great detail, but once again, mathematics. If you can do any kind of math, you'll see that the media numbers are just complete bullshit. It's a lie, and they apparently can't add. And they can't count. And so now what they're doing is just basically straight up saying that the delegates that are for Ron Paul are actually for Romney, or that they're bound, or that they're going to vote for Romney. They can't seem to be able to put delegates in the Ron Paul column and take away the delegates that they projected, that they presumed, that the presumptive candidate would get. He doesn't have them. And his delegate count, I'm beginning to look at that whole thing, and it's looking pretty damn suspect all from top to bottom. Ron Paul may pull this thing out. He is gaining, and the fact that I don't think he might not be gaining. He might have already, you know what I mean? It's like that's the whole story, that he's coming from behind. Well, where are the delegates in the first place? All these delegates that they have for Romney, well, not all, but many of them are projected. They're not actual delegates. And then the whole thing about this being an arcane and confusing system of, the delegate process was set up by our founding fathers for exactly the reason that we have going on right now, which is they knew that the popular vote could be co-opted, and also they didn't want mob rule. It wasn't a democracy that they set up. It was a representative form of government, a republican form of government, right? The Republic of the United States of America. The rights of the many do not, supersede the rights of the few. The rights of the few are also protected along with the rights of the many, and everyone gets a voice, right? Free speech, that whole, all that nonsense that's in the Constitution. And isn't it interesting that the guy that is the sole defender of the Constitution, the guy that often was the only guy voting, against, because of his principles on, with regard to the Constitution and these laws that are unconstitutional and unjust and immoral, he would be the only one voting no. It's the sole voice in the Congress that stood for the Constitution time and time again, year after year. He is the one that educated his supporters and followers to understand the delegate process and go take over the delegate process. If Romney had the support they say he did, he would be able to overwhelm Ron Paul in the delegate process. So is it that Ron Paul's supporters are so unsophisticated that they'll show up in droves, thousands, watch the videos, and link those damn videos all over the place on your Facebook page? They should have more than a few thousand views. They need to have hundreds of thousands of views. There are people that actually think Ron Paul is out of the race and that it's down between Obama and Romney, even though he hasn't even been nominated yet, and even though there are quite a few states in the union that haven't picked all their delegates yet. This thing ain't over by any stretch of the imagination. You guys need to work 10 times harder. But anyway, go look down there, and you'll see that all these thousands and thousands of people that are showing up for Ron Paul and having their votes stolen, it's called election fraud. Say it, Ron Paul supporters, election fraud. You write an article, use the words election fraud, vote fraud, election fraud. Do I need to spell it for you? All right, the idea is that these guys are getting their votes stolen, and the mainstream media is trying to make you think, well, they come out in the thousands for Ron Paul, but they don't go vote, and they're unsophisticated, so they don't go vote. These are college kids, and these are people that are new to the process, and they love to hear them speak, but when it comes time to vote, they don't go vote. Well, not only do these people go out and vote and have their votes stolen in the hundreds of thousands and flipped for Romney, they also are becoming delegates. And they become delegates in the same massive numbers that they come out to see him speak. And they're overwhelming these conventions. They're overwhelming these caucuses. They're giving great speeches. And if you understand how the caucus process works, you'll see that that's the whole point. is that these people get out there, they nominate each other, and then they go to the convention and elect, select the candidate. And this is the delegate process. And then we have the bigger process where we have the elections, and then we have the electoral college vote to elect the president. This is called a Republican representative form of government. Are you new to this? Is this our first caucus selection process in 236 years? Is this the first time we've done this? Or is this brand new? Is this our brand new election? Is this some arcane, right? No. We've been doing this for quite literally now centuries. Decades and decades and decades. Many elections. At least 50. At least. And now we have this, the mainstream media trying to tell you it's an arcane and confusing process, and the Ron Paul people are hijacking the process. You know what we should do? We should just get voting machines and get rid of all those paper ballots and this confusing delegate process, and just go out there and we'll make it 100% popular vote, and we'll pick all these delegates for you, and save you all the hassle and trouble. Why would you need to show up for every 4 years? That's just so much work, showing up and becoming a delegate and making speeches and caucusing and stuff like that. Why don't we just have a vote and be done with it? Same thing they did to our senators. Exactly the same thing. They made the senators a popular vote. That was a huge mistake. Let's take a look at that amendment, and that needs to be repealed, because our founding fathers understood the concept of representative, right, government, and self-governance, and you need to get involved in the process. And those that don't get involved in the process will be governed by those who do. Now, the Ron Paul people are becoming more and more numerous, and people are starting to wake up and see that we lost control of our government. We had a momentary lapse of reason, as it were, when it came to these voting machines and not understanding how the delegate process worked. And that's what happened in 2008. But those days are gone. And now Ron Paul is scooping up delegates. And here's another thing you need to understand, that once we get all these delegates, we can go down to the convention and make the rules. Right? This whole thing about how they're going to, right? I mean, now he can be nominated from the floor for sure, because we have, how many states now? I've lost track, but Iowa, Minnesota, Massachusetts, looks like North Carolina is going to get the mass of it. Missouri is going to be a fight, but there's going to be a good contingency out of Missouri. Nevada, Maine, Washington State, Alaska, I think 11 states by my counting or thereabouts are going to be either plurality or actual straight up majority. Like in Nevada, it's 20 delegates. In Maine, it's again like 21 out of 23. That is the majority. So anyway, when they get to the floor, they can make rules like, hey, let's enforce Rule 38. Hey, let's unbind these delegates. Hey, we've got to, they can also make all kinds of noise about what happens with the Republican Party platform. Smaller government, more trade, less intervention, bringing the troops home. Not the party of war, but the party of peace. Not the party of mutually assured destruction, but the party of mutual respect for all nations, trade with all, entangling alliances with none, as our founding fathers admonished us to do. And hemp, and we can make all kinds of changes at the Republican National Convention. We can also make rules and set up, vote, not just nominating the process or in the nomination process, but take a look at what happens at conventions. Like I said, is this the first time we've had a convention? All right. Well, it's going to be the first time in quite some time where we've actually had people taking part in the process. And you guys can make it so that things, the delegates can go down there and propose rules, change rules, before the nomination process happens. Think about it. Think about what happens if the majority of the delegates, whether they're bound or not. That's all the hullabaloo. It's the media. Here's the kitten. Here's they got a little ball over here for the kittens to bat at. Here, look at this. Look at this. Without you understanding that that the bound rule, that's just for voting for the actual nominee. But there's a whole lot more that goes on in the convention than just nominating who's going to run against Obama, right? And then this whole thing with Obama, there's a great, here's a kid, hey, look, here, kitty, hey, look at this, hey, gay marriage, hey, look, hey, gay marriage, hey, look at those gay people over there, these gay people, hey, gay marriage, hey, gays, hey, you gay people, hey! And just making as much noise as they can so you don't notice the fact that there's a drug war going on. It's complete failed policy. We still don't grow hemp in this country. And I did a lot of research the other day about hemp. And we could probably become energy independent just on hemp alone. I mean, we were growing hundreds and hundreds of thousands of acres of hemp for World War II. And that's part of the reason why we won that war. And up in Canada, they're growing hemp, and so anyway, there's the hemp issue. No, let's look at the gay marriage issue. No, hemp would be a much bigger issue, just dollar-wise, and put people to work. Right? Gay marriage isn't putting anybody to work except for maybe a few more priests, maybe, and a couple of people down at the county recording office. But I mean, it's not. It's just not as big a deal as they're trying to make it out to be. And on top of that, Ron Paul has for the longest time said, "You guys want to contract? Contract. You guys want to have free association, and the citizens' right to contract is unlimited. And if you want to contract in marriage, or whatever kind of arrangement you want to call it, because even some gay people don't want to call it. They don't call it marriage, right? Civil union. It depends. It's a very complicated issue. But the bottom line is, Ron Paul, for the whole time, even though they try to make him out to be anti-gay and so forth, has said, "You guys want to contract? Contract. Game over. Look over there. It's a war with Iran." Right? They're trying to start a war with Iran, which, they're being backed. Did you notice that Putin backed out of the G8, and then he's basically saying, "I ain't coming," which is basically, flipping the bird to the President of the United States of America? This one that I've been in forums where I see people saying, "Oh, our president has respect." Our president has no respect around the country. Or, excuse me, around the world. Around the country, he has a lot of respect. But around the world, in the Muslim nations, you think he's got the respect of the Pakistanis? You think he's got the respect of Africans other than Kenyans? The attitude that we're going to go in there and save things and fix things? Anyway, the answer is no. Look at this. The Federal Reserve is still printing our money at debt and loaning it to us at interest, right? We don't have any actual money in this country. What we have are evidence of debt in the form of Federal Reserve notes. And those notes have lost value every year since 1913. It's 100 years of losing value. It's worth about 2 to 3% of what it was in 1913. Therefore, a single person can no longer afford to support a family. We have to have both people in the workplace, and this is supposed to be progress. Anyhow, but gay marriage, look at gay marriage, hey, gay marriage, well, birth control, gay marriage. It's amazing. It's utterly amazing, and many people are seeing through it. It's insanity what's going on. We have to get more people out there, and you need to do more work. Get out there and go to work. If you've had a caucus in your state or you've already had a primary, your job ain't over. You can still go raise money. You can still do phone banking. You can still write articles, make art, do whatever the hell it is you can do. Whatever you're doing, it's not enough. I assure you. Do more. This thing is not over, and we are actually gaining great momentum. So get out there and do work. Use the links that I have below. Do the math when it comes to the delegates. Understand the delegate process. Understand what happens at the convention. And of course, this is why they want to hide the fact that these delegates, and again, they want to try to distract you with the concept of it's bound and so forth. And no, there's a lot more that goes on at the convention than just nominating the man that's going to run against Obama. And Ron Paul will slaughter Obama in any debate or any argument. So get out there and do whatever it takes. These, by the way, for those who didn't know, are pinhole glasses. See them? They're not actual sunglasses. They're pinhole glasses. I suggest you search on eBay for these, because you can find them in the United States for $20, or you can find this exact same pair. This exact pair I saw for $20. I think I got it delivered to my door from China for $4. Hate to say it, guys, but support Americans. No, Americans are buying it from China and then charging me. So I'm just buying it direct. That's supporting me, this American. Let's see. And I have lots of great videos down there. Check out the videos. Lots of links. The TSA and all the stuff that's going on with that. Fukushima. Just use my links to their best effect. And in any chat room or any forum or comments or so forth. And thanks for all the support. I really appreciate it. Get out there, get educated, educate your friends, do whatever you can to support Ron Paul. He needs $650,000 in the next 2 weeks. That's crackers. 100,000 people at $6.50 each. We got it. And just the people that are showing up in the arenas could do that. So get out there and do more. This fight is not over. Ron Paul, it's a fight. This is the politics. It's a fight. So get out there and fight. Don't sit home. Get off your couch and do something. All right, Ron Paul, 2012.